So I've travelled to Geneva, Cornwall, Amsterdam twice, and I haven't paid a penny this year. Before you wrongly assume I've been smuggling drugs across the border, here's how I did it. The first tip is to find your skill. What can you offer someone in exchange for a trip abroad? Let's take photography for example. Maybe you do product photos, property, weddings, events. Find what your skill is that you can offer to someone. So you might already have some clients that already need to shoot abroad. They may have a relationship with a supplier abroad, or they host events in different countries. In my example, one of them hosted events in the UK, and I also knew that they hosted events abroad. And believe me, I was persistent when it came to asking to shoot abroad. The opportunity came up, I quoted the right price, and there we go. I was off to Geneva. Another had a supplier in another country. They wanted to do some videos around how they were getting those products, what made them special, and they asked me to tag along. Don't get me wrong, this will take time. You need to develop a relationship with that client. If you've been shooting with them for 5 minutes, it's unlikely they're going to splash out and take you abroad. The companies that I'm talking about, I was shooting with for at least a couple of years before I got the opportunity. Now you might be looking down your client list and thinking, none of them have any international exposure. So you might need to find new ones. And that's a completely different video, how to find new clients. But when you're looking, just make sure they've got an international interest. But it doesn't have to be international. I recently shot with a client who had some properties in Cornwall. Cornwall's beautiful, you get the right weather, and you might as well be in the south of France. Just because you didn't get a stamp in your passport, doesn't mean it isn't great for someone else to pay for your holiday. The property in Cornwall leads me on to the third step. You might need to consider your pricing. I'm not saying discount or slash your prices too much, but you may need to think about it a little bit. The Airbnb property, they have a set price per night. And so what I did is I proposed the cost versus X amount of days for that stay. And they don't feel like they've spent any money to get great marketing content, and you don't feel like you spent any money to get a holiday. You've just spent your time promoting that property. In the other example where I went to Geneva for an event, they usually use a local photographer, but that can be a risk. They've used me before in their UK events, and they know what they're getting. They've liked the product. So what I did was I costed everything. I did provide a little bit of discount because I thought, well, I've always wanted to go to Geneva. Why not? If it gives me a chance to go out there and I get to spend another couple of days. And I guess ultimately that is the question. Do you want to discount your services so that you get the job, so that you get to go abroad on someone else's money? For me, that was worth the trade-off. Fourth tip is to book your own travel. Yes, this will take a little bit of planning in terms of transfers, hotels, flights, but you also get all the benefits as well. Things like air miles, hotel rewards, all come to you and you can use them for future trips. The other benefit is if they've agreed to the price of the flights, it doesn't matter when you go and come back, so you can extend your trip and explore the city or the place that you're going to. The fifth and final tip is to be upfront with the client. If you're going to stay for an extra couple of days, let them know. With regards to Geneva, I got there the day before and I left the day after. A couple of benefits is that I get to explore the city, but also I'm not stressed about getting to the event. And even better, on the Sunday they knew I was staying over, so they got me a nice meal by the lake. Perfect. Yes, I'll make your shoot expenses higher, but your rate will hopefully subsidise the trip that you probably would have gone on anyway. And it might be worth speaking to your accountant about what expenses are tax deductible. So hopefully you use these tips and get a free holiday. And surely that's worth a subscribe. Surely.